Good afternoon. I am Kim Jong-myung from Myeongju University. It's my pleasure and honor to present, to preside at this session. The title of section 3 is the new interpretation of Islamic culture. And in this session, originally three scholars from Korea will make a presentation, but unfortunately, one presenter today has the emergency of his father, so today only two scholars will make presentations. I think today's presentation will give good opportunities for us to increase our understanding and knowledge of Islamic science and culture. The first presenter, the first presenter is Dr. Jena from Inha University, and he is a mathematician, but he is very interested in the cultural relationship between Korea and the Islamic societies. Today's topic is how should we teach mathematics related to Islam and the Middle East, a new perspective. Please welcome Dr. Jena.
Thank you very much. I would like to talk about mathematics. Maybe it's not interesting to you. Okay, I have two problems. As you see in the bottom, first one is a problem about ancient Middle East. The other is a problem about Arab mathematics. So what kind of problems? I show you two persons very famous in the world. In fact, we have two kinds of problems. One is disparagement, the other is disregard. The first one is related to ancient Middle East. The second one is related to Arab mathematics. There are two ways, so I'll show you for the very famous two persons, Nobel Prize winner, James Watson. He said, surprisingly, black persons have less intelligence. It's very common sense. We know that. How about the other person? Disregard. Richard Dawkins is a very famous scientist in the world, especially in Korea. He said, okay, you see that? All the world's Muslims have few Nobel Prizes than Trinity College in Cambridge. That's the view. But two persons are very famous in the world, right? As a scientist. But they have their kind of thinking. How about in education, in Korea, Europe, America? Maybe, I'm not sure that Saudi Arabia, that I don't know about it. So you know about, let's think about together. How about Saudi Arabia, Iran, Iraq? there is one terminology to understand this kind of situation, actual age. I'm not sure that this concept is popular to Islamic studies, but I'm not sure about that one. But actual age means disregard Arab world. So this, in my case, I'm thinking about actual age is very serious problems in the world, especially in Korea, Europe, and United States. So I'm not sure that Arabic studies have this kind of concept or some study about actual age. Maybe Martin Bonar is a very famous person. He died, but anyway, he fought all his life to destroy our actual age. So in the bottom, he explained about actual age. Why Europeans made actual age? Karl Jaspers made that, that name, but anyway, so why don't you see the bottom line? Here's the canons, European canons, for example, Pythagoras. Iamblichus said exactly Socrates spent 22 years in Egypt and 12 years in Babylonia. Darius first, okay? That's the Darius first. That's the fact. And he came back to his country at the age of 56. What is canon? Why don't you see the bottom line? Wow. He came back to Greece, and then he made a theory. That's the European canons. How about Pythagoras' canon here? So, Pythagoras had studied in Egypt for 21 years, and he had set out his theorem only on his return to Greece. And then the Egyptian had been unable to hypothesis. What he did? Nothing. What he did? Nothing. But we call the theorem as Pythagorean theorem. But Pythagoras did nothing. Why we call it? How about in Korea? Why we call it as a Pythagorean theory? That is a kind of a theory of a diagonal rule, okay? Or Babylonian theorem is correct. But we call Pythagorean theorem even though he did not anything. Okay, think about it. How is Islamic mathematics and Middle East mathematics is ignored? First, here's a sentence. Diagrams of Pythagoras theorem occur in early China and India manuscript. We don't want to say Old Babylonia. Okay, second one. René Descartes showed that geometry problems, blah, 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 blah. That means we don't want to talk about Omar Khayyam. Okay? How about third one? Aryabhata is sometimes considered the father of algebra by Europeans. Why? We don't want to, we don't want to talk about our equality. That's the real situation right now, 2023, right now. Okay, I share very quickly. How about number 4? Simon Stebbins was probably not influenced by blah, 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 blah. Why? We don't want to our Euclides, we don't want to our Kash. Okay? How about number 5? The property of a Pascal triangle has been known blah, 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 blah. Before Pascal, for example, Chinese mathematician Yang He. That means we don't want to talk about Al-Karaji, Omar Khayyam. Okay? We don't want to talk about those guys. Okay, here's number 6. Beltrami claimed that the ring of 4 longitudes, okay, ring of 4 almond was influenced by Chinese blah, blah, blah. Why? We don't want to talk about Babylonian mathematics. How about concentric squares? That's the ring of almonds, okay? That's the beginning of the ring of almonds, Proto-Sumerian. And then finally, there's Samarkand, 17th century. So there are many stories in here. I want to call concentric squares. That's the beginning. Now in here. So I'm a director of a gifted center education in our university. I have a philosophy, 2 kinds of ones. It's bottom line. That's my teaching philosophy. So I'm not sure that in Saudi Arabia, so what is now happening. But anyway, in Korea and Incheon, in our university, and my center, these 2 kinds is my mathematical philosophy. I show you. Okay. Calculus, not Newton and Leibniz. That is Ibn al-Haytham, okay? Fatimid. Pascal triangle, no. Omar Khayyam's triangle, decimal fractions, Al-Kashi, generalized Pythagorean theorem, no. Al-Kashi theorem, Fibonacci number, no. Fingala number. Danchong in Korea, 소술금. That's a Islamic hexagon tessellation. I show you very quickly. Yeah, that's the calculus was invented by Ibn al-Haytham at Egypt, right? How about Al-Kashi theorem? Yes, that's the Al-Kashi theorem, not generalized Pythagorean theorem. Samarkand, 1427. Pingala number. That's not Fibonacci numbers. That's the Pingala numbers as a combinatorial theory. But usually we call Fibonacci. What he did, a little bit, okay, a little bit, but we call Fibonacci number rather than Pingala number, India. Okay? How about Seljuk tessellation in Korea, 소술금? I'm sure that came from Seljuk dynasty. So there is a special meaning. That's a regular tessellation is mathematics by triangle, square, and hexagon. But those kind of have a special meaning constructed by circle. In Islamic world, circle has a special meaning, 2 kinds. One is one God. The other is law of Mecca. So circle make 3 kinds of regular tessellation. Let's see the hexagon, okay? 6-sided polygon, okay? Usually we call 단청 in Korea, but that's not. So here is a hexagon design in the first. So how can I teach my student? Construct by compass and join together. Okay? Of course, I introduced Seljuk tessellation. I want to call Seljuk tessellation 11th century in Iran right now. There are famous ones, about 30 designs. Yes, that's Tancheon in Korea, but anyway, there's a Seljuk tessellation in pavement. How about this generalization? Think about ancient Middle East mathematics in school. Okay? School mathematics class. Pythagorean theorem, here is essential question, and my gifted sentence. What is the essential question about Pythagorean theorem? Prove it? No, I don't want it. Okay? What is main question? Is it ethical? That's my question. How about four qualities, four elements? You know that in philosophy. Okay? What is the essential question? Is the four element theory of Plato and Aristotle derived from Egypt? That's my question. Calculus, one more. Okay? Archimedes in pi, Alexandria. Concentric squares. So, how well we teach our students? Maybe Saudi Arabia, in Korea too. Okay, let's think about it. Pythagorean theory. No, I want to call it diagonal rule because it was proved, discovered in old Babylonian period. So I want to call diagonal rule rather than Pythagorean theory. Why? He did not anything. Calculus, ancient Babylonians. They did. Yes, ancient Babylonians took first step in calculus. Concentric squares, Egyptian styles. That's the concentric squares, Egyptian style. So there are four squares having same centers, right? We call concentric squares. Now here is a history of Babylonian concentric squares from 3000 BCE, Proto-Sumerian period, okay, up to now. How about bottom line, type 2? That's Villas and Turkey. That's I took the picture. Uzbekistan. How about that one? That's I'll show you big one. Okay, here's the concentric squares. I said, I'm sure that that's the beginning. It's the latest one. Chinese American architecture, IFA, in 1989, he constructed that one, postmodernism building in the Napoleon courtyard. Think about it, pyramid site. That's the concentric squares. How can you explain about that? But I am just a mathematician, so that I hope that you have interest in this kind of historical value. How about this one? Late 5th century. Think about Korean student. Samyong-chong. I want to show that, okay, blah, blah, blah. Here is the beginning, and audio, and then this one. But that's my homework. That's my homework. How can I prove it? Okay. 2 days 2 days ago, I gave a final test. Okay? Here is undergraduate student in here. That's my final question. I gave 2 days ago. Usually, I taught freshmen in this semester. My student was were 130 students. There were 3 questions. 1, discuss the concept of actual age. Second one is the engineering question, coding theory. Okay? Anyway, don't worry about it. There's a coding theory in engineering. How about third one? Explain the design significations of paved blocks. That is eventually design value of old Babylonia and Seljuk dynasty. Also describe a practical example of the fusion research in design by medieval Islamic mathematicians and artisans. I think this kind of education is very useful or essential in these days. So I quit here. Thank you very much for your listening.
Dr. Park Jae-nam showed that originally there are many mathematical theorems and designs were invented in the Middle East and the Islamic society. But we just call them we call them the Western original. So he stressed that our our education system about mathematics or science should be changed and reconsidered. Thank you for your interesting presentation. The second presenter is Dr. Jung Jin-han. His topic of today's presentation is Saudi Arabia's approach to Islam and cultural heritage policy. Please welcome Dr. Jung Jin-han.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for having me. It's my honor to talk in front of you, distinguished guests. I am Jin-Han Jung, a researcher of Islamic history and its international inter-civilization exchanges. Today, I will talk about Saudi Arabia's approach to Islam and its cultural heritage policy. First of all, let me briefly introduce the traditional concept of Islam for the kingdom and its heritage policy. The kingdom's tourism has launched and grown along with the support of Hajj as the custodian of Islam. Much before the establishment of ministries managing culture and heritage, Saudi founded the Ministry of Hajj and Umrah in 1945 and opened its flag carrier, Saudi Arabia Airlines, the former Saudia. By owing to this enthusiasm, we can see the leap of the growing number of pilgrims from the time. Since the 21st century, the kingdom has accelerated its promotion and the transformation of its cultural heritage policy. Along with this, the organization is in charge of the heritage have changed. As you see, Vision 2030 drives fortifying Islamic and national identity, and national tourism strategy declares that its primary goal is increasing Hajj and Umrah visitors over 150% from the peak of the pre-COVID-19 era, and providing the pilgrims' richer experiences. Saudi tourism equips its ecosystem with these organizations. You can find the Red Sea Authority at the right corner. This is the only organization targeting a single region. It reveals on which part the kingdom's touristic strategy inclined to. Al-Hijaz, the land of Al-Haramain. Vision 2030 declares, your future is in tourism, and accentuates increasing jobs in private sector partners. And also, the Crown Prince points out, the tourism influences the business environment directly. For reaching such goals, we should understand the issue, the Crown Prince's policy toward Islam. It has been issued that his policy led Saudi much more flexible in the aspect of religious life, or even some said secular. Media and scholars try to coin an appropriate term for such an idea, and moderate has been commonly used internationally. However, the Crown Prince crystal clearly refused the term moderate Islam and warned that terrorists and extremists would abuse this word. He accentuated that the Saudi and other Muslim countries are not changing Islam into something new. Instead, they are faithfully returning to the core, the pure Islam of the age of the four first caliphs. This is what you know very well, Hanbalism and Salafism. Nevertheless, the religious policy would be flexible according to the changing external dangers. The Crown Prince interpreted the reason for the kingdom's previous compromises with the extremists from the war against the bigger threats. He reminded the ex-US president who was once favorable to the extremists and nicknamed them the freedom fighters. This opens that the kingdom is able to negotiate with any lesser evil to defend itself from the ultimate evil. This recognition is important since he used the extreme rhetoric on the risk of Iranian revolution by labeling it as based on an idea of pure evil. He diagnosed that the theocracy sounds idealistic but useless for people. But the theocrats in and out of the kingdom caused the country's rigid policy in the religious aspect because the kingdom had to avoid any swings of the dreamers, the theocons. MBS is actively applying Islam and Quranic verses to non-religious sectors. For example, Vision 2030 cites the Quranic verses of Qawwam in Surah Furqan, verse 67, to his administrative affairs. This measure empowers his word and legitimizes his reasonability. Bismillah. As you see, the current kingdom is distinctively urging the national identity observed by the rapid increase of the commemorating days. It shows that the kingdom honestly has widened the niche for the sake of the House of Saud in the overwhelming national identity of Islam. Under this big picture, let's look into the growing Islamic heritage industry in present Saudi. As we saw, the major heritage development focuses on three. They are Islamic, Arabic, and national. If you remember, the Vision 2030 pursues enriching the experience for pilgrims, you may understand the feature of this strategy. The kingdom announced the list of 10 museums waiting for the opening. Among them, you can catch that the first 4 museums are located in Mecca and Medina, and 3 are in the portal of the pilgrimage Jeddah. See the themes of them written on the right color. that commonly targets the narration of Islam, like revelation, like Medina, Prophet's Mosque, the history of Hajj, the creation of universe, and the history of Prophet. But Saudi should overcome the competition with its with its distinctive strengths. Yeah. Definitely, Saudi has extraordinary potential for the tourism industry by combining the Islamic travel and other tourism. Yeah. Saudi possesses the majority of the field of the most decisive events in the Islamic history. Also, its vast territory and seas are covered with lots of world-class natural scenic places, from water to desert, mountains, and oases, with ruins of ancient civilizations like Al-Ula, including the root of the world Arabs. Even Korean travel agencies are guiding Koreans to the places of Islamic history, from Al-Masjid al-Nabawi and the mountain Uhud. I was very surprised. Particularly, I have a special expectancy for the medical tourism in Saudi, especially on the route of Hajj, like the King Abdullah Medical City. This city, as you know, automatically welcomes visitors from all over the world. But when it equips proper facilities and systems connecting pilgrimage and religious experience, education, medical treatment and natural healing, and entertainment and shopping on the track of the pilgrimage, its touristic potential should be enormous. And the overwhelming population of Saudi citizens over the other GCC countries also benefits the domestic market size and the supplement of the labor forces. The major challenge for Saudi, I think the major challenge for Saudi is security issues. In recent days, the conflict with Iran, activated several times by air attacks via Yemenite arms, have generated world concerns about Saudi's security, which should negatively influence the kingdom's business involvement and investment, including NEOM and Vision 2030. Although Saudi advertised about the sudden peace agreement with Iran, multiple experts are regarding this accord as fragile. The conflict with Biden also functions as a potential obstacle, even if he pushes Saudi to get closer to Israel or be away from Syria. In the aspect of Saudi, it would not be attractive as the way of Trump, who distinctively suggested the carrot per each deal. Finally, I think Korea can contribute to develop Saudi's heritage development projects through various corporations. We can launch from the minor level of the project cooperation, such as VR, metaverse, AI exhibitions, and archaeology and museum management. In a higher phase, we can prepare several types of exhibitions with tangible relics. It could be a temporary or permanent type. Some of them could be circulated among Islamic countries or other countries. Ultimately, we can discuss establishing a museum as the Saudi Arabian Prince Faisal bin Farhan initiated. We have one of the top VR exhibition skills and experiences, like including the UNESCO properties from Gyeongju in Korea to Persepolis in Iran and Angkor Wat in Cambodia. Korean teams have directed projects of digital restoration successfully. Also, Koreans have been working for international field restorations, including Palestine, as you see. Korea also has a long, unique, and abundant narrative of exchanging with the medieval Islamic world that my MA and PhD concentrated on them. The history is supported by dozens of Arabic manuscripts, such as Al-Biruni, Al-Idrisi, Al-Masudi, Muqaddasi, Keda, as well as as well as the scattered ruins of figures and items in Korea. Yes, the Muslim visitings during the Middle times are also surviving well in Korea in the form of the official chronicles registered properties by the UNESCO. Last year, I briefly explained this idea at both the King Fahd Center and in Riyadh and a few Korean conferences. Established the Korean Museum of Exchange History between Korea and Saudi is also worth the consideration, I think. Attaching to the Central Mosque of Korea, which hangs the kiswa donated by the kingdom, is also nominated. Let me close my remarks. Saudi was traditionally a single-oriented country, Islam, as the custodian of two holy sites. However, currently, we are witnessing its moving forward to share Islam with Arab and the nation state. However, the top priority is still fixed as Salafism. This principle influences the national heritage policy. Saudi's interest has been concentrated on the Islamic treasures, but now the kingdom is generating a great synergy by combining Islamic assets and others, such as pre-Islamic ruins and nature. Saudi still encounters various challenges, but the Crown Prince confirmed that he is ready to apply the religious elements flexibly for being away from both extremes, rationalists and theocrats, as kingdom did before. And Korea is ready to be the partner for the kingdom's development of the world-class treasures by participating in project cooperations and monument building about their mutual exchange histories. Thank you.
Thank you. Dr. Jung Jin-han, he said Saudi Arabia is now actively following a strategy to promote the cultural and tourism industry. And as a part of it, Saudi Arabia is now building many museums and art centers. And lastly, he suggested various ways of examples and ways to promote the cooperation between Saudi Arabia and Korea in cultural areas. Now we have about between, we don't have enough time. I think we can have a time of discussion between 5 and 10 minutes. And the first discussant nominated is Dr. Kim Eun-ji for the presentation of the Dr. Park Jae-nam. Please.
Hello everyone, I'm Eun-ji Kim from the Institute of the Middle Eastern Studies from KAIS-HUFS. First of all, thank you for having a chance to be a discussant in this conference. And Dr. Park's presentation was very insightful, and somehow it reminded me to think about how should I teach for undergraduate schools the students about the Islamic medieval age, the Bait al-Hikmah, or the Wisdom House, the vulnerable inventions and works. Today, due to the time management, I will just ask two questions to Dr. Peck. As we think about the curriculum system to make by the Ministry of the Education, usually it is made by the teachers and professors from the education field. So of course, to use kind of a terminology is usually brings from the Western side, of course. But is there any attempts or trying to explain about these kind of stories from teacher side, from the grassroots? And second, how the Dr. Pex, he now is the director for the gifted students from INA University, as I know. So how the students' reaction when you try to teach about these kind of things came from the Arabs or the Islamic side first, and then it transferred to the Western side? Thank you.
The second discussant is Dr. Antoine from Yangju University. She will discuss about Saudi Arabia's approach to Islam and the cultural heritage policy.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. First of all, I'd like to say thank Arabic for All for supporting this conference today. شكرا جزيلا دكتور محمد ودكتورة مشاهير وأيضا شكرا لكم على الهدية. Today I received this memory of Sheikh Muhammad bin Abdul Wahab. Back to the presentation. Based on Dr. Jung Jin Han's presentation, I was able to understand the recent Saudi Arabia's Islamic and cultural heritage policies. And also it was quite interesting that Dr. Jung Jin Han suggests us the method of cooperation between South Korea and Saudi Arabia for development of cultural heritage. Personally, I hope really this plan will work, inshallah, in a very near future. And I have only one question because we are behind the schedule. Dr. Jung, can you explain the impact of Saudi Arabia's Islamic policies on other Islamic countries, including Saudi Arabia society? Thank you so much. Thank you very much.
Now, Dr. Park Jae-nam will answer the two questions.
Dr. Kim, as we know that Korea has a national colloquium. That means we have terminology. That means we have to follow that terminology, right? So that all Korean teachers, math teachers, have to follow their terminology, Pythagorean theorem, cosine theorem. So that in my case, I try to meet Korean math teachers as possible, as many as possible, and explain blah blah. How about the second question? In gifted education, I decide colloquium, I decide terminology. Okay? So, at my site, I mean, in a gifted education site, all terminologies that are changed. Just I showed them Al-Kashi theorem, okay, or diagonal rule rather than Pythagorean theorem. So I'm thinking about that. That is my job. So please help me. Thank you very much for your questions. Thank you.
Thank you for the question. I think the Saudi's Islamic policy should influence the world enormously by dozens of ways. Sure, but let me count a handful, some of them only. First of all, domestically, the current policy is blowing the innovation of the citizens, I think. The industrial structure is quickly reforming. From the familiar frame full of the conventional field to the creative and experienced sectors like leisure, entertainment, filmmaking, and even nurturing, S-pop, like K-pop, nurturing S-pop stars. This change strongly attracts the youth of the kingdom, who once favored the West or Dubai lifestyle, but now they are discovering the harmony of fun and Islam together in their homeland, so they are considering to return. Internationally, Saudi is standing on the rival of Dubai and Iran in different sectors. Like Dubai led the internationalization model of the GCC through the pluralism in religion and culture. This unidirectional way has appealed for the foreign investors and laborers, as you know. But Saudi is proposing the pure Islamic virtue, but providing practical conveniences of business and life for foreigners, more inclusively. Appealing to conservative Muslims as well. Against Iran, Saudi's flexible method of Islamic life is shaking the Iranian youth. Like under the decades of theocracy. Since the 1979, the frame was set like, look, Iran amongst the Saudi Arabian conservatives, like, let's go like Iran, like a theocratic country, like a conservative country, very rigid, without any flexibilities. But now this frame is changing, like, look, Saudi amongst Iranian youth. We can make country like that one. Let's find some fun and make it more cosmopolitan. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Jong-jinan. We are already behind the schedule by 5 minutes, but if you have questions about the presentation, I can give you a chance, one or two questions. No? Anybody? Okay, please.
Thank you very much. My question is for Professor Dana Park. I would love, really, I'm very interested to translate your work to Arabic, if that's possible. I would like to translate your work, if that's possible, the paper. I would like to translate it to Arabic, if that's possible.
Because we have my paper in English.
Oh, that's good. Thank you very much.
He wanted, if the chance is permitted, he wanted his script to be translated into Arabic or English. Okay. Another question?
It's like a comment, but more than a question.
Yeah.
I remember almost in the late 70s and also early 80s, some of the well-built roads and buildings were built by the South Koreans, and we still see it, as a very constructive, nice one. And in regard to the heritage that he talks about, this is not new in only one science, it's also in sciences, like in linguistics. Some of those the theories that appear in linguistics here and there are either taken from Chinese linguists or Arabic linguists, even the prominent ones. You will see them related to, but they're not known in the world, so that's why it's attributed to more of a Western mind rather than our. Thank you very much.
Yeah. thank you for your comment. Now we close this session, and I appreciate the session three presenters and discussants for their high quality and in-depth presentations and discussions. And I think many valuable information and the ideas discussed today will contribute a lot for the Islamic studies development inside and outside Korea. And lastly, I would like to extend my special thanks to the audiences who have stayed until the end of this session. Thank you.